Hello and welcome to Songs for the Struggling Artist, the blogcast. This is episode 254. My name is Emily Rainbow Davis. Thank you for listening to the blogcast. Today's episode is inspired by another podcast, again with a WTF inspiration. I didn't credit it in the actual, or did I? Anyway, it's also a WTF inspired podcast. That is blog that became a podcast about a podcast. That's a thing. But I've been feeling relatively uninspired, so you got to take it where you can get it. And if it's sometimes that podcast has some rich material. In the future, there will be, I think, 2 blogs. Oh, there's already been one out today that's Reddit inspired, and there's going to be another one that I am currently working on. So, sometimes there's just like a theme, not on purpose, just like that's where my brain's at. So that's what happens. And so here we are. So why don't I just read it to you? It is called The Stumbler or Fuck Around Fridays. Listening to Laraine Newman talking about her pre-Saturday Night Live days made me think about all the stars that had to align to give her the extraordinary life and career she's had. The one that popped out for me was this quality in her youth of just messing around, just trying stuff out. She never took aim at something and strapped herself onto a rocket. She just tried stuff out, followed what she liked. Her sister was a folk singer. She followed her into the arts. Her sister did improv, which Newman found that she liked, so she stumbled into co-founding The Groundlings, a company that is now foundational for American comedy. Lorne Michaels came to see The Groundlings, so then she stumbled into Lily Tomlin's show. Then Saturday Night Live stuff just happened for her. And surely it might work that way for some people these days, but for most, just stumbling into things is entirely beyond reach. This is because A, the bar is so high, B, the competition is so fierce, and C, everything is so expensive. Let's say you wanted to start a sketch troupe like the Groundlings today. First of all, you're going to need a place to rehearse. If you're in New York, a decent-sized rehearsal room is going to cost you at least $30 an hour. If you're not doing exclusively crowded elevator sketches, you gotta have some space. Then you're gonna need a place to perform. Sorry, buddy, we just lost 2 comedy venues in this pandemic. You might need to rent a theater. Well, gee whiz, you can get this 23-seat black box for a cool $2,500 a week. Hope you have a trust fund. But okay, your uncle left you some insurance money, so you rent the space. How are you going to get people to come to your show? You could make some postcards, hand them out to your friends, make a Facebook event or whatever. Heck, you could even be a real pro and send out a press release. But I'm sorry to tell you that without a huge group of friends who love to come see sketches or a professional publicist, you might be hard-pressed to fill that 23-seat black box you paid $2,500 a week for. There are probably 200 sketch groups in the city, all competing for an audience. You'll need some help cutting through the noise. At every step of the way, someone who's a stumbler will have stumbled away from this experience. The more determination and drive it requires, the more obstacles that get thrown in the way, the less likely it will be that an artistic dabbler will stick around. What I'm saying is that a young Laraine Newman in these times would not start the Groundlings. I think this is a big problem. Not because I'm a stumbler. I'm not. I have been a rocket strapped to me aspirational theater maker since the first day I stepped on a stage. I am the kind of dog who will not let go of the stick for any reason. I rented that $2,500 a week theater. But the way arts get made now means that only the most privileged or most fiercely tenacious people are left, and I don't think that makes for good art. Some of my favorite people to work with are first-timers. The product designer who made his first stage set, the software developer playing guitar in a play, the film producer turning to theater. You just don't get many first-timers in an art scene of attrition. You don't get folks who just want to try stuff out. You don't get the lightness of possibilities, of experimentation, of exploration. The more money you have to raise, the more pressure gets put on a project. People don't want to fund your group to just fuck around on Fridays. They want to fund your trip to Edinburgh. They want to fund your development deal to Broadway. Also, you shouldn't have to fundraise to fuck around. You should be able to just fuck around somewhere if you want. Let me tell you, fucking around is better for art than just about anything else, but no one will ever pay you to do it. Just messing around in a place where it's possible to mix it up and do whatever is so good for creative thinking. Someone could just stumble into your space where everyone is just fucking around and make the fucking around even more interesting. Groups of artists are best when there is a healthy mix of people. If everyone in the group is a super tenacious, ambitious striver, the group is going to be terrible. You need variety in a scene. You need someone who fiercely chases the dream, sure, but you also need the person who just stumbled in there. Maybe even a few of those folks would be nice. It's harder now, even than it was 20 years ago when I started my theater company. It was bad then, sure. We had to raise money to rehearse, sure. But I happened to have a big living room then, and rehearsal space wasn't quite as outrageous. But I've watched something that was hard to start with become nearly impossible. And I've watched all the lovely stumblers stumble into more welcoming fields. These days, I end up working a lot with people who also have companies, who also have hung on tightly through the storms. They are lovely and amazing, but we're really missing the stumblers. I long for a lightness of process, of participants, of just letting a breeze blow through to make a thing. I definitely miss having a living room big enough to rehearse in. But really, one thing I'd love to see when theater returns is space for the stumbler. So this is one that was sort of two posts that became one, because I had this whole idea about Fuck Around Fridays. I would really like to have, I don't know why it's Fridays, I guess because it's alliterative. It could be Fool Around Fridays. I don't need to be, but Fuck Around Fridays sounds better to me. Anyway, what I would like to have such a time, a day of funded activity. I don't know, or just like a way to do that. But like I didn't have like a whole blog post around it. I just was sort of sitting with the title, I guess, of Fuck Around Fridays. And then I was thinking about Laraine Newman and how she just stumbled into founding one of the premier improv groups. I guess they're a sketch group, premier sketch groups of American, comedy, film, movies, TV. I mean, we just like nobody does that anymore. Nobody. I don't know how you could. And it's a shame. Anyway. So I sort of smushed those two ideas together because they're not dissimilar. They're like, I think for a striver like myself, the idea of a Fuck Around Friday is a way to sort of ape the vibe of a stumbler. It's the way to formalize stumbling, maybe. I don't know. I have not yet formed an entire methodology on these ideas, but I'm thinking about them. So Laraine Newman has a book out, which is why she was on various podcasts. I haven't read it I bet it's interesting. So for a song here, I have learned Steely Dan's Pretzel Logic. And it is a very curious song. The reason I chose it is because there's this kind of recurring theme of the times have passed, the times have changed. Those days are gone forever, over a long time ago. And unfortunately, I feel that applies to this stumbling situation. Sad as it makes me. So that's, and I'm sort of listening to the song on a theater playlist I have, so it connected up in that way for me as well. I have questions about this song. I love it. I enjoy it very thoroughly. I don't know, the opening line of it is, I would love to tour the Southland in a traveling minstrel show. And I don't know, given when this song was written and, the circumstances, I don't know that they know that a minstrel show is usually a pretty racist show. I don't know if that knowledge had really made it to everyone. It still hasn't made it to everyone. So I don't know. It troubles me is what I'm saying. I don't know about this minstrel show reference in this song. And it is the very first thing. I feel like it's probably in the spirit of like, fun old-timey show and not a racist show is my feeling about where it's from, but it troubles me. I'm sorry to say. I'm not sorry to say. It is troubling. I'm not sure what to do with it, I guess. But so I sang it anyway. What the heck? Because it's problematic, perhaps, or maybe it's not. Maybe he's trying to say something about it. I don't know. See, this is the thing. Complicated. But also, it's not a logical song, right? The song is called Pretzel Logic. It's not supposed to make sense. Anyway, I sung it on ukulele, and I will play that for you in just a moment. Meanwhile, thank you so much for listening. And I think I should start recommending podcasts again. I've found that I am compulsively doing it on Reddit. Oh, you want me to recommend your podcast? Absolutely. I can't resist. I cannot resist. And I know like several people have mentioned to me recently, what? I just don't know what to listen to. So I'm going to try and start remembering to recommend things because I, of course, am obsessed. I have been listening to the Orphan Black podcast, which is now not behind a paywall. It was behind a paywall, and now it is not. So if you watched the Orphan Black television show, which I loved a lot, you can now listen to an audio drama / audiobook. It's more like an audiobook in the sense that it's read by only one person, but that one person is Tatiana Maslany. So it's actually like 20 people are reading it to you. Anyway, it's really captivating. It's not done yet. It's still, I think it's coming out maybe every week on all the podcast platforms now. It was behind a paywall before on some other site. Anyway, so if you are looking for some compelling science-y fiction-y, I'm not sure. It is science fiction technically, but I don't always like science fiction, so it's just a highly compelling story. And I don't think you have to have watched the TV show. I think they set up the story enough in such a way that you could get away with not having seen it. You'll spoil the surprises for yourself in the television show by listening to the thing first, but you may already know. You may already know the surprises. Anyway, that's a thing. That's what I'm listening to. Thank you so much for listening to the show. If you like it, please tell someone about it. Share it on the various social media and write a review, subscribe, all the things. If you'd like to support it with your dollars, there's patreon.com/Emily R. Davis, Ko-fi, PayPal. All those links are in the show notes. Always much appreciated. Thank you, and thank you. And here, without further ado, I give to you Pretzel Logic on ukulele. I would love to tour the Southland in a traveling minstrel show. Yes, I'd love to tour the Southland in a traveling minstrel show. Yes, I'm dying to be a star and make them laugh. Sound just like a record on a phonograph. Those things are gone forever, over a long time ago. Oh yeah. I have never met Napoleon, but I plan to find the time. I have never met Napoleon, but I plan to find the time. Yes, I do. 'Cause he looks so fine upon that hill. They tell me he was lonely, he's lonely still. Those days are gone forever, over a long time ago. Oh yeah. I stand up on the platform, man gives me the news. He said, "You must be joking, son. Where did you get those shoes? Where did you get those shoes?" Well, I've seen them on the TV, the movie shows. They say the times are changing, but I just don't know. These things are gone forever,